so I punted that little into the wall. Over the years, we've read plenty of stories where Greg screws up, something happens to him that's not ideal, but half of the time by the end of the story he solves it, he's fine, he overcomes it. Not in this case though. I don't see how Greg is gonna solve this one. Now this story was made by Boy. If you want to check them out, first link in the description is gonna take you to the Reddit page so you can check out everything that they post there. And if you do go on to enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with the bell turned on for notifications so you never miss another video. Now how about we hop into the first page of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Greg fucks up. December, Monday. Today was fucking dreadful. Me and the boys were just watching porn on the school computers and computer science. Nothing harmful. You know how it goes though. There's always some bitch across the room just waiting, dying to ruin the fun. Greg is watching pornography, Mr. Jizzle. What the fuck? The next time I see Patty, I swear to God, that snitch is fucking dead. Long story short, Patty got the secret out, and Mr. Jizzle told me to go to the vice principal's office. Fun. When I got to the door, there was this bouncing noise, kind of like jumping on a bed that's about to break, or those shitty sofas at the antique shops Mom always goes to. The blinds were closed, so I couldn't see what was happening. After a while of listening, I could hear two voices laughing and giggling. It just hit me. What the two voices were saying sounded exactly like the porno. These people were having sex in a fucking school. I opened the door, and oh boy, you'll be surprised about who I saw. Mom? What the fuck? Holy shit, it's Greg. Mom was giving her whole head to Mr. Winsky, and Vice Principal Roy is fucking dead. As soon as I walked in, these fuckers immediately acted like they weren't just fucking crawling all over each other. That filthy homewrecker Mr. Winsky sent Mom and told her to take me home. Fucking delinquents. I have to tell Dad that Mom is a whore somehow. This bitch needs to be sent to the streets. It's like 5 p.m. and Mom is driving me home as we speak. I can't fucking believe that my mother is a whore. I witnessed my own mother pleasing another man and I feel disgusting. During the ride, we didn't speak to each other for about 30 minutes. All of a sudden, Mom asked if I could forget everything that happened today. I said I would, but I knew that this hoe could not step another foot into this household. Greg, listen. How about we forget about what happened today? Yeah, sure, whatever. She then asked me not to tell Dad about this. I said I wouldn't, but you can't make a promise to a hoe who breaks her wedding vows. When I got home, I told Rodrick about everything that happened with Mom. However, he didn't seem shocked at all, and then he told me everything. Mom's a whore, Rodrick. We need to have a little talk, Greg. So basically, it turns out that Rodrick fucking knew Mom was a massive whore the whole time and kept it a secret from everybody. All I wanted was to watch my fucking Twisted Wizard hentai in peace. Is that too much to ask? He told me about how he walked into Mom and Chirag's dad in his bed when he was a little kid. Mommy, what the fuck? Holy shit, it's Rodrick. Not only that, but also, this means I could be half Indian. And to make things worse, Mom threatened Rodrick with a fucking gun, so he would stay quiet about the affair. Tell Daddy about this, and you're fucking dead, Rodrick. Tuesday. School is closed because of Mr. Roy's murder, and me and Rodrick both decided that it would be best to tell Dad about Mom's disgusting acts. It was best to do it then because she was out of the house for a while, so she wouldn't eavesdrop. As we told him about the shit Mom did, I could notice the way his eyes diluted, like part of him had died. He was all like, I see. And then he headed down to the basement. Also, we had to sleep while Dad listened to Duster on full blast all night long, which was fucking annoying. Monday. It's been almost a full week since we told Dad that Mom's a slut, and now he looks like a fucking ghost. He's been laying around like a limp dick recently. I've been watching the news a lot lately. Apparently now, they've got a huge lead on who killed Mr. Roy, which was fucking lovely. I just can't wait to have my house raided by the fucking feds. Rodrick seemed pretty okay with it though, since Dad doesn't care about anything anymore. Rodrick's been doing band practice more than ever, which means more noise for me. Great. On the plus side, I did manage to pick up where I left off with the Twisted Wizard hentai, which was pretty poggers. Definitely my proudest nut. Oh damn. Mom and Dad just started arguing. Mom's going on about how Dad is a prick who doesn't care about the family anymore and is just too focused on being a sad sack of shit. Dad is drunk as hell though, so he's just shouting at Mom and calling her a bitch. Oh shit, Dad just brought up the affair. Oh my god, now they're throwing stuff at each other. I gotta stop this. Right. so me and Rodrick managed to split up the argument. I can hear both of them crying in the separate rooms we put them in. I actually feel kinda bad for Dad now. Hopefully things get better for him soon. Dad is fucking dead. He shot himself. Rodrick and I heard a bang come from the basement, and the first thing we see is Dad on the floor with a bullet in his fucking head. When Mom turned around, I tell you, she looked batshit crazy. She was holding a Glock and looked like a fucking animal. I'm gonna break her fucking legs, Greg. What the hell? She then threatened us for answers for who told Dad, and when I thought things couldn't get any worse, Bubby did it. He had to fuck shit up. February. Saturday. Right. I know it's been a while since I wrote in this, but a lot has happened, so let me fill you in on everything. Manny is the personification of human sin. Do you want to know the reason he tried to get me killed? That's for not teaching me how to tie my shoes, you fucking ploopy. I'm only 3, Bubby. Help me tie my goddamn shoes. So I punted that little shit into the wall. I should have paid more attention to Mom though, because she actually stuck by her word for once. She managed to shoot me in both legs and break my fucking kneecaps. Rodrick had to carry me upstairs, which was embarrassing to say the least. Mom was being a mega bitch by chasing us across the entire house. We ran everywhere. Rodrick, it fucking hurts! Oh my god, shut the fuck up, Greg. I don't know how, but Mom had to have had aimbot on her side, because she really was hitting her shots. When Rodrick turned around to see where she was, she shot him in the dick. Ah, you whore! I was scared shitless. It really looked like this was it. Seemed like we were finally going to fucking die. Now you're probably wondering how we got out of this situation, and I'll tell you now. It was so fucking stupid, you won't understand. You know how I jokingly said before that the house would probably get raided by the feds? Yes. Yes, it fucking did. I shit you not. The second that Mom caught up to us, the PPD SWAT team burst through every goddamn door and window in the fucking house and dogpiled on top of her. Keep going, boys! It was pretty hard to make out what was actually happening because one of the officers covered our eyes. Actually, the whole thing was kind of a blur because I passed out from so much blood loss. When she was put on trial, Mom was found guilty of killing Mr. Roy. Also, I framed her for kicking Manny into the wall. All the charges totaled to 75 years in fucking prison. Since Dad is dead and Mom's in prison, we've been staying at Grandma's. The authorities didn't want us going to Uncle Joe because his family's a bunch of hillbillies, or Uncle Gary because he's a fucking pedophile. Grandma's pretty shaken up about what Mom's done, and I don't blame her. If I found out my kid was a crazy psycho killer whore bitch, I'd feel the same way too. Since then, my legs have just about healed now. Roger got diagnosed with erectile dysfunction, which is a huge skill issue if you ask me. If there's anything from this to take into account, it's that Manny is fucking dead. And that in itself calls for a celebration. Sunday, Manny is alive. He got back from the hospital at 11 p.m. last night. The doctor said that he suffered permanent brain damage and has been rendered both physically and mentally retarded. They say he'll never walk or talk again, and when he does, he will spout out unintelligible bullshit. Lucky for me, because now he'll never be able to get the secret out about who actually gave him the brain damage. It's bad enough that Grandma's kissed Manny's ass a lot before, but now since he needs way more attention than ever, I'll be left to fend for myself. Monday. Okay, so nothing much happened today, except for the fact that Mom might just be the biggest fucking whore the world has ever laid eyes upon. It all started in the morning with this huge assembly in the sports hall to remember Mr. Roy and his accomplishments. It felt like everybody had eyes on me the whole time. Before he was gunned down by recently convicted Susan Heffley, then Lionel James asked me something. Susan Heffley? Huh. Is that your granny or something, Greg? Susan Heffley? Who the hell is that? It looked like I could have gotten off scot-free. But then, that fat, obese, shit-eating dildo Raleigh Jefferson had to open his fucking mouth. What are you talking about, Greg? Susan Heffley's your mom. And then it all went tits up from there. Wait, Susan Heffley? You mean Sexy Susie XXX? The one that filmed herself with 37 penises in her mouth? No way! I lost my virginity to that hoe during my freshman days. I knew she sounded familiar. Damn, Greg! Your mom is the finest bitch my eyes have ever seen. Then people started talking, more and more, one by one. The memorials started to fall apart. You're nothing special, Mr. Blakely. We've all done it. Exactly. Pretty much every man in Plainview has had a piece of Susan's ass, you fucking idiot. Zooey mama. My entire school reputation shattered before my eyes. It took one day, one fucking day, for everything to go down the shitter. I hate my life so much. Fucking hell. Then it got worse from there. Greg Heffley's mom's a slut. Also, Mr. Blakely is officially on my hit list. You know, I thought that this school would have at least some form of standards concerning the teachers they hire. Know what? Fuck Roy. I never liked that motherfucker anyways. Instead, let's take a trip down memory lane with Sexy Susan's hottest performances. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Mr. Blakely loaded porn up on the computer and played one of Mom's worst tapes on the big screen. What the fuck was the board thinking when they hired this dumbass? Seriously, how stupid do you have to be to hire Mr. Blakely out of everybody else out there to come work for you? Thing is, at this point, I was still in denial about this new info. I thought that Mr. Blakely was only gonna show some softcore shit, like Mom twerking but with clothes on. Lol, no. It was a video of her with 37 cocks in her mouth. Oh, also, here's the real kicker. Fregley came. He fucking came to Mom's tape. So, at this point, I completely had enough and went straight to the bathroom. The sound of gagging was still ringing in my ears, which made me fucking vomit. I don't know how. But even after seeing that tape, I still couldn't believe how the fuck everything fell apart so quickly. After I got out, Riley charged at me and got on his knees begging for forgiveness, so I gave him the biggest noogie of his life. But I forgave him anyways, because everyone knows he's a dumbass who runs his mouth too much. Now Mrs. Craig saw me noogie Riley, and I thought I was cooked. Luckily, she just gave me a slap on the wrist and a warning. Since I was treading on pretty thin ice, I decided to just behave for the rest of the day. That wasn't until Fregley came up to me and said this. Your mom has some nice titties, Greg. I wouldn't mind sucking on those. So I kicked the shit out of that delinquent, and now I'm fucking suspended for 2 weeks. Grandma's been losing her mind too. Having to deal with Manny's antics all day has really taken its toll on her, and I can tell. Since Manny's lost all of his motor skills, Grandma's been having to spoon feed him, and even then, most of the time he's spazzing out, so he'll slap the food out of her hands. Also, if you were wondering what happened with the whole mom/prison situation, look no further, my friend. Long story short, Mom is a whore, so she got put in solitary confinement for organizing a fucking orgy with the other inmates. If it was hard for you to tell, she's clearly gone off the fucking rails. I doubt she'll ever see the light of day again. Also, I forgot to mention that Dad's funeral is on Friday, so I'll keep you filled in on what happens until then. Wednesday. I'm starting to consider killing Manny now. After a long and agonizing day of playing Super Twisted Wizard Final Spellbook, I decided to go back to my room. You wanna know what this has to do with Manny? Ploopy. He pissed on my fucking bed. Grandma couldn't find any clean sheets or a mattress, so I had to sleep on the floor. God, I truly cannot wait for the day the ugly bastard dies. Thursday. Mom fucking broke out. It was all over the news this morning. Breaking. Sexual deviant and serial killer Susan Heffley has escaped from Plainview Supermax prison. Nationwide manhunt begins. I'm shitting my pants as I'm writing this. The fact that this beast was able to escape solitary fucking confinement shakes me to the core. And you know what else? The guards found a note in her cell that read, "Dear Greg and Rodrick, you are both fucking dead. Love, Mom." Looks like I'm barricading myself in the bathroom real soon. I can tell Rodrick is terrified as fuck too. When I went into his room to break the news to him, I found him under his bed curled into a ball. Must protect penis, must protect penis, must protect penis. We begged Grandma not to go to the funeral because of Mom, but she didn't listen because she wanted us to have some closure and give him one final send-off. She then added that the feds will probably catch Mom before then. I don't think that Grandma fully grasps the severity of this situation because nobody with half a brain cell would make the children in their custody go out to a public gathering while their psychotic stripper whore killer bitch mom is at large and out to fucking exterminate them. Okay, I know it's only been 4 hours since I wrote in this, but news has just come out that I feel clarifies just how fucked we are. Mr. Blakely is dead. And I think I may have a faint idea on who killed him. Whoever did this is fucking crazy. 48-year-old man viciously murdered at his home in Plainview. The police are saying that the attack was like nothing they'd ever seen before. They said that if you looked at the autopsy report without any context, you would think he got mauled by a fucking bear. If Mom found out what Blakely did and punished him like this, just think about what she'll do to me and Rodrick. I'm thinking of killing myself. Maybe I can get one of Rodrick's choke fetish ropes and hang myself with one. What is up with these guys and being fucking freaks in this story? I don't know if I've said this, but I just need to get off my chest how fucking terrified I am right now. It's like 10:50 p.m. right now, and I literally cannot sleep at all. I'm in bed as I'm writing this. Like, I shit you not. When I heard a knock on the door this morning, I opened the door holding a fucking knife, only to see the mailman in front of me pissing himself. If I want to survive, then I gotta find something to arm myself with, because I sure as hell do not want to get mauled by mom's crazy ass. I'm so fucking scared, man. I don't want to die. I'm staying awake so nobody tries breaking into the house. Friday. Well, it's the big day. Dad's funeral. There's some good news though. I'm strapped the fuck up now. While Grandma was taking a bath, I snuck into her room and found one of her guns on top of her wardrobe. We're in the car right now, and I have the pistol on me as we speak. I told Rodrick that I have it. If Mom pulls up to the funeral, then she'd know best not to fuck with me now. Because if she does, then it'll be her that gets shot in the fucking legs this time. No, Manny, we're not there yet. I'll write in this and update you once the funeral's finished. Breaking. Massacre at Martha Street Parish in Plainview. 176 people left dead. Holy shit. Where do I even begin? Okay. Let me just start off by giving you a quick summary of what just the fuck has just transpired. There was a huge shootout at the funeral, and practically everyone who attended is fucking dead. I genuinely could not have imagined today going any worse than it did. You won't fully get it unless I give you a full rundown of the incident, but let me just take responsibility for something first. I fucked up. I fucked up big time. Okay, let's start off from the beginning. Everything started off like normal. When we all got out of the car, we just had to go greet family members and friends and shit like that. Typical funeral shit. Hello there, Greg. Boy, you sure have grown up. Get the fuck away from me, Uncle Gary. You'd actually be pretty surprised by how many people actually turned up, considering Dad didn't really like to talk to a lot of people outside of the family and work. If I had to guess, there was like 100 or so people in the attendance. After we were done with all that, we just had to prepare food, drinks, and tissues until the pallbearers brought Dad's casket in. This was where our problems began. Long story short, the pallbearers were late. Grandma called them multiple times, but they weren't picking up. It wasn't until the fourth call that they actually answered. Understandably, Grandma was pretty frustrated and wanted to know what the fuck was going on. Pallbearers explained to her that there was a car accident a few blocks up and the road was closed off, so they had to take the long way around, which meant there would be like a 30-minute delay. Bullshit! Stop lying to me, young man! Nothing else we can do. Sorry, ma'am. It was bad enough that we couldn't get the funeral over and done with quickly, but what made matters even worse was the fucking retards that we were cooped up in there with. So yeah, this meant that Uncle Joe had to break the news to everybody about what was going on. Excuse me, everybody. In the meantime, Rodrick and I followed Joe off to Sanctuary and met with Dad's side of the family. Let me just say that the atmosphere was kind of depressing. Yeah, nobody was really taking this whole ordeal all that well, to say the least. Since the pallbearers were taking forever, the adults made all us younger people try some icebreakers to stop us from getting bored. This wouldn't have been so bad had me and Rodrick not been coupled up with fucking idiots, two of which we already knew. Hey Greg, hi Rodrick, somebody give me a rope. Yeah. So basically the group that we got put into consisted of me, Rodrick, Raleigh, Fregley, and this kid named Dylan. Dylan is basically Fregley's little cousin from down south, who's really fucking addicted to his Nintendo Switch. However, to save you guys some time, I'll get into him later, when he becomes more relevant in the story. About 15 minutes had passed, and not a single word was spoken. We were all bored out of our minds. That was until Dylan shat himself everywhere after winning an Elite Smash Bros. Match. So Fregley and Raleigh took him to the bathroom. That's when Rodrick came to me with an idea. Hey Greg, let's take the kid's Switch. It'll be funny. I'd be lying if I said I didn't know why I agreed to this. It sounded cool not to be the butt of another one of Rodrick's sick pranks, and it sounded even cooler to be in on the fun myself. However, I wouldn't have done this if I had known it would turn to be the worst decision I had ever made in my life. After Rodrick and I went ahead with this plan, in the midst of the darkness and depths of despair, when things seemed quite bleak for this funeral, a dim of light at the end of the tunnel soon emerged. In other words, the pallbearers finally arrived with Dad's casket. Oh wait a minute, this happened like 10 minutes after Raleigh, Fregley, and Dylan went to the bathroom. How much shit did they have to clean off? Anyways, that's besides the point. At least we could finally get the stupid funeral over and done, and get home quickly, right? Oh, if it was only that simple. It was finally time to get the actual proceedings underway. However, Dylan suddenly slammed the bathroom door wide open, allowing fumes of shit to contaminate the church hall and suffocate everybody. Shit had us feeling like we were in Auschwitz. That fat fuck Dylan didn't give a shit though. Only thing he was looking forward to was sweating another 30 rounds of Elite Smash, only to find his beloved Switch gone. Yeah, you can imagine what happened after that. My Switch! Yeah, so basically Dylan went rabid because he couldn't find his fucking Switch. I'd be lying if I said that laughs were not had. Still, I'd be pissed if I were him, although I was the one who had it. Dylan started to throw a huge fit and started smashing bottles and flipping over the pews. It was fucking hysterical. Uncle Gary attempted to console him, and his efforts were swiftly thwarted when Dylan proceeded to punch him in the balls. This drove Gary nuts, and we all know what happens when Gary gets emotional within the vicinity of prepubescent children. The Daily Herald, 35-year-old man taking in the questioning after allegedly, yo, what is up with Gary and all these stories? If Gary wasn't pinned down by Uncle Joe, Terrence, and Grandpa in the nick of time, then the whole congregation would have had to have witnessed the performance of their lives, and Gary would have another child sex offense added to his criminal record. Fregley's parents took Dylan back to the car, and Uncle Gary got sent home. After the altercation, Uncle Joe tried giving Dad's eulogy on the sanctuary, and it was obvious that Uncle Gary was supposed to say the other half of the script, but we all know what happened with him. Regardless, I think it could have been a really amazing and powerful eulogy. That being, if I was actually able to hear Joe over Manny's tarred screams. Frank was... fuck it. Yeah, it was already crystal clear at this point that the funeral was a fucking mess, and things were getting worse by the second. Honestly, it was like watching a man trying to dump another load of straw onto the camel's back when the camel is literally dead. After Dad's eulogy was essentially botched, it was time to open his casket so that everybody could give him their final messages. Everybody got one final look at Dad before we sent him off, and it was my turn to speak my mind. It felt really weird looking at his body and how at peace it looked, especially considering how fucking crazy the day he died was. Then something so horrid, so deranged, something so earth-shatteringly insane happened that it made me think I was in a fucking dream. He got up and fucking grabbed me. Everybody froze. It was like Dad had gone to hell and back. I asked him how the fuck he was even alive. My question was answered with, "You really don't get it, do you, sweetie pie? Here, watch this." That voice. I recognized it. It couldn't be true. I didn't want it to be true. I couldn't move. I should have pulled out the fucking gun, but I didn't. Then, he started to fucking claw at his skin, ripping it off little by little, tearing himself apart. Everybody was hit by the most horrific revelation. Guess who's back? Now I want you to imagine the absolute fucking frenzy this shit caused. Everybody ran around screaming and crying. It was fucking anarchy. Uncle Joe had a mental breakdown, and Grandpa got a fucking heart attack and fell to the floor. Mom then screamed at the top of her lungs, telling everybody that if they didn't shut the fuck up, then she'd kill them. And that if anybody planned on escaping, she rigged Dad's coffin with explosives, and she'd set them off if nobody listened to her. She then walked down the hall to the front door and barricaded it using the pews, saying that anyone who tried moving them out of the way would be killed. She went back upstage, took the mic and tried asking the crowd a question. Problem is, nobody could hear her over the sound of Manny screaming. Grandpa was still on the sidelines, fucking wheezing and suffering from a heart attack, and Grandma came down trying to help the poor bastard out. This constituted as not staying quiet, so Mom, being the perfectly sane and mentally sound human being that she is, pulled out 2 guns, shot Grandpa twice in the head, and fucking killed him. I told you to shut the fuck up, you old bitch. Everybody stared at his dead body in horror. It was at this point that we all realized we were in really deep shit. Grandma had had enough. When Mom turned her back and walked away, Grandma muttered something, so Mom turned around. It was then that Grandma started to speak her mind. Not gonna lie, it was some heavy shit. She spoke about how Mom was a mistake, and that she was never supposed to be born. Grandpa had talked her out of getting the abortion when they were teenagers, and ever since Mom came into the world, she was the worst thing that ever happened to her. This pissed Mom off. She then pointed her guns at her, asking if she wanted to join Grandpa. But then, Grandma turned around and pulled out a shotgun and shouted this right before cocking back the forearm and opening fire. "I will send you back to the hell which you came, demon." All hell broke loose. The two started fucking spraying at each other like crazy. People got shot as bullets flew all over the place and blood splattered everywhere. Everybody started screaming and ducking under the pews. Me, Rodrick, and Raleigh booked it for cover. Not Fregley though. That dumb fuck ran in the complete opposite direction and tried lunging towards Mom. He soon got turned into Swiss cheese as he was shot 7 times in the face and fucking died. "Give me them titties. You fucking freak." We hid under the pews and watched people drop like flies. All of a sudden, Grandma revealed the real reason she didn't get the funeral cancelled when Mom broke out. It was to lure Mom in and kill her herself. Rodrick reminded me about the pistol that I took with me. Not gonna lie, by this point I had completely forgot about it and was distracted by the fucking duel that we were caught up in. I reached for my pockets, only to realize something dire. My gun was gone. I started scrambling around like crazy, looking for where it could be, only to see it right out in front of me. Problem is, it was outside of our cover and way out into the line of fire. So if I were to crawl out and get it, I would have gotten caught in the crossfire. Then something so retarded happened that you're just gonna have to believe me when I say this. Manny Heffley had decided at this point that he would go out in a blaze of glory. And by a blaze of glory, I mean he crawled over to my gun in the middle of the crossfire, picked it up, and fucking shot himself. Yep, Manny's dead. For real this time. Fucking idiot mistook the gun for a bottle of bitter apple spray and shot himself in the goddamn mouth. Honestly, it was a gruesome sight, so I'm just gonna draw what the little fucker looked like right before he took the easy way out. Now, this next part might sound absolutely ridiculous to you, but please take my word for it. When Manny shot himself, he jerked backwards and threw the gun right into the pew that me, Rodrick, and Rowley were hiding under. W Manny. Since I was strapped back up, my next thought was to jump into the battlefield and start squeezing the trigger at that bitch Susan. That thought was shut down when everybody in church heard a huge crash come from the front door. It was so loud that Mom and Grandma stopped shooting at each other for a minute. People started to crawl out one by one from under the benches to see what the commotion was all about. Somebody ran their fucking car through the church walls. Everybody walked down the aisle to see what dumbass was stupid enough to do this. And it was a mistake that they'd all regret until the day they died. The car door swung open and thus, the main event had begun. It was Dylan. He fucking killed Fregley's parents. Everyone started murmuring to each other about what the fuck was going on. But the time for talking was soon cut short when Dylan jumped on the hood of the car and shouted this before pulling out an AK-47 and fucking shooting at everybody. "Give me back my fucking Nintendo Switch now!" We all ran away as Dylan fucking shot everyone in sight and red mist filled the air. Me and Rodrick booked it straight under the benches, but Raleigh couldn't run fast enough and became yet another casualty. I had always told him to lose the weight in case something like this ever happened, but he never listened. Dylan managed to shoot Grandma in the hand and Mom in the fucking eye. Oh, son of a... So the next thing you know, out of nowhere, the two somehow put aside their differences and started to team up against him. So yeah, at this point, we then had a fucking 2v1. Mom and Grandma versus Dylan. More and more people got gunned down, and the stench of shit and metal got stronger by the second. The sounds of gunfire kept banging against my fucking head, and I eventually felt like I was going crazy. Get this, the fucking SWAT team arrived. They all came crashing from the roof and smashing through the windows and began shooting at Mom, Grandma, and Dylan. Eventually, I just didn't know what was going on anymore. I didn't even know where I was. I just couldn't take any of this death and destruction anymore. So I got up, closed my eyes, and started shooting. I didn't know who at. I didn't know why. I just shot until all the noise went away. Die! Die, you fucking scrubs! Fucking die! You know how I said before that I fucked up big time? I kind of blacked out after a while, and then I opened my eyes back up. I wasn't at the funeral anymore. I was in the woods now, and it was dark. I looked down, and my arm was fucking gone. Like any rational human being, I started screaming like a bitch. Because what the actual fuck? While I was trying to make sense of what happened whilst I was out, a voice interrupted me. You're finally awake, huh? You need to shut up. They might still be out here looking for us. It was Rodrick. I asked him what the hell happened and what he was yapping about, and he gave me the unfiltered truth. We're on the run now, and it's your fault, Greg. I asked him why he was wearing an eye patch, and it turns out I was reckless as fuck and shot him in the eye. I wondered what he meant by my fault though. I was completely oblivious to the damage I had caused, so I asked him what else happened that I didn't know of, and he proceeded to show me this on his phone. Breaking. Domestic terrorist Greg Heffley remains at large following the massacre at Street Martha's. Assailant is also son of porn actress Susan Heffley, responsible for explosion at Street Martha's parish, which was known to have killed at least 97 people. Shot and killed 12 SWAT officers, was last seen wearing a white collar shirt with a black tie, black Oxford shoes, and black pants. Is armed and extremely dangerous. This has to be a prank. It's 10:20 at night right now, and I have just woken up to find out that I caused an explosion, and I've been labeled on national television as a fucking domestic terrorist? I love my life so much. Rodrick then went on to explain that Grandma, Uncle Joe, and everyone else are dead because of me, and we are the last surviving Heffleys. He said the feds haven't found Mom's body, but she's probably kicked the bucket too. I can't believe this. Well, this might have just been the worst day of my life. Hopefully I'll wake up and this will all have just been a bad dream. Saturday. Oh my god. It's starting to sink in now. My entire family is dead. Riley is dead too. My arm is still gone. And we're fugitives living in the damn woods. We can't even eat actual fucking food now. Jesus Christ. For breakfast, Rodrick handed me a dead rat. I told him I wasn't eating that shit, so he ate it right in front of me. I am not drawing this shit. Our only form of entertainment is Dylan's Switch now, because Rodrick's phone died this morning. Won't be too long till the Switch dies too. Last time I checked, it was on like 30%. I can't do this shit anymore. Sunday. Rodrick threw up after eating that rat yesterday, and the Switch is dead too. Now he has nothing left to distract him from his erectile dysfunction. I asked him how he was holding up this afternoon, and he seemed totally out of it. Even though I'm missing an arm, I'm still better off than him. I can still beat my meat and he can't. Damn shame. Monday. Rodrick got bit in the dick by a beaver. It was at like 1 in the morning. I woke up to him screaming and I shot that fucker immediately. It's 2 a.m. now and I can hear Rodrick crying himself to sleep right now. God save him. Tuesday. This is bad. This is really, really bad. So it turns out Rodrick actually was in fact not lying when he said we were on the run, because it was basically like 3 a.m. when we had to leave our old hideout because we heard some marshals nearby and just booked it. It was dark as hell, but we managed to get away. Sadly, Rodrick tripped over a rock and dislocated his ankle, and he couldn't run anymore. Now it's my turn to hunt for food now. You'd best believe I'm not eating any fucking rats. I should be able to find a gas station somewhere around here. Hey, so the gas station idea somehow worked out. I found one way out in the middle of nowhere. All I had to do was get my disguise on. I walked in, told the guy at the counter what I wanted, and the dumbass just cooperated and let me walk out with all his food. I shot him anyways, because he looked at me funny when I was about to leave. Call the cops and you're fucking dead, bro. Okay. Now I have this huge ass stash of soda, potato chips, popcorn, and way more. And I'm on my way back to the hideout as I'm writing this. It seems like things are finally starting to go my way. Wednesday. Rodrick hung himself. He's fucking dead. When I got back with all the food, I found him hanging from a fucking tree. I have nobody else now. What the fuck am I supposed to do? You know what else? I found a suicide note sticking out of his pocket. Want to know what it said? Sorry for making you see me like this, Greg, but I need you to pull my pants down to check if I'm hard. If I am, then get me down ASAP. But if I'm not, then just let me die. Also, no homo, by the way. Rodrick. I did what he said, and it was limp as fuck. I can't believe this shit. I can't believe he'd abandon me like this after everything we'd been through together. Fuck you, Rodrick. I hope you're proud of yourself. You want to know the worst part about this? I can't even leave him here. I need to dispose of his body now, or else the fucking marshals will find it and realize I'm nearby. At least I have these snacks with me so I don't have to eat him. Thursday. I burned Rodrick's body last night. I can't believe it's all come to this. I don't even know what to do next. To end the day, I just sat out gazing at the stars. Maybe in another universe, I didn't turn out this way. March. Wednesday. Ever since Rodrick died, my life has honestly become a living hell. It's been nearly 2 weeks since Dad's funeral. In that time, I have gotten like 5 hours of sleep in total. Not like I can even afford to sleep with all these fucking creatures around. It's really cold out here. I wish I had a blanket with me. I can't remember the last time I went to school. It's been a good long while since I've actually been in contact with a woman too. I'm horny as fuck right now, and beating my dick doesn't fill the void like it used to. I wonder what Holly's doing right now. Wait, never mind. She probably thinks I'm a fucking freak now. You can probably tell I've only really had my thoughts lately. It's only gonna get worse from here. I've been rationing my snacks this past week, but they're about to finish. Not to mention, I haven't even showered ever since the funeral, and now I smell like a fucking mule. This isn't the life I was supposed to live. I was supposed to be rich and famous, have a huge ass mansion with a wife and 3 kids, so I could spend the rest of my life sitting on my front porch and watching the sunset. That future's gone now, and I'm stuck in this damn forest. What the fuck am I doing here? None of this was even my fault, and what have I done to deserve this? Why do I, of all people, have to go through this? This should have happened to fucking Bryce or something. Prick. Less of a prick. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up for. Thursday. Well, today was something. To summarize, I came across Mom. Don't worry, she's not a threat anymore, and she never will be again. I was about to leave the forest to find somewhere new to rob, but that's when I heard someone say my name. Yeah, I turned around and nearly had a heart attack, but with the state she was in, it wasn't like she could do anything against me. Her legs were completely fucking blown off, and she was slumped on a tree. From the sound of her voice, she was getting weak. Hi, Greg. I knew I had to get answers. I started off by telling her Rodrick was dead, before moving on to my set of questions. I tried so hard to keep composure, but then she interrupted me to say this. Isn't this such a beautiful view, sweetie? To put it simply, I kinda lost my shit, and everything I held inside for the past 4 months just spilled out. Are you fucking serious? She asked me what I meant. Like, seriously, what the fuck? Did everything I just said then even enter your fucking ears? Not only is Rodrick dead, Mom, everyone else too. And it's your fault. I don't get to run away from what you've done. And then she had the audacity to say this to me. Greg, quiet please, sweetie. So I started screaming. I told her she was a whore, a monster, and none of this would happen if it weren't for her. All the men that she fucked, all the dick she sucked. I asked her if she ever took into consideration how Dad would feel, and if it was worth losing him. How does someone even manage to fit that many cocks in their mouth? If you never cared about him, then what was the point of staying? And the answer to that question sent me off the fucking rails. You'll understand when you're older, sweetie. Don't you say another fucking word. Did you never once think about how your actions would affect other people? Hun, I will never understand, because you ruined my fucking life. Do you want to know how I live now? The food I had to eat, the conditions I had to sleep in, the future that was taken from me. I screamed, and I screamed, until my voice gave in. And it looks like that was the end of the story here. I'm sure we can piece together what happened just now. He obviously shot her in the face. But he is on the run, and I mean, there's no explaining himself if he goes to the authorities or whatever, because he caused the death of how many people again? Let's see. Holy shit, yeah, he killed 97 people plus 12 SWAT officers. There's absolutely no way that he could explain what happened, what went down, and how he's not at fault, so yeah, no, Greg is going to be on the run, and this was probably one of the worst endings that we've seen happen to Greg here, because, oh man, he has really nothing going for him. I like those custom photos as well. Those were really well made. However, one thing I didn't like is how they treated Manny. He's the fucking GOAT. I hate when he gets disrespected like that, but I get it. It was part of the story. It had happened, so I'll let it slide. I hope all of you guys enjoyed watching. Of course, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to turn on the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. And if you have any stories that you want me to end up reading, put it in the comments and I'll get to it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one and take care, guys.